Monica Lewinsky. 2 decades ago, this country put her through hell.
Is charged that you asked Monica Lewinsky to lie in her deposition.
I never, ever asked her to lie under deposition. I asked her to lie there in that position.
People. You know, it's very hard to combine an intellect with a man of the people. Usually you get one of each, you know. The last guy who truly combined them both, Bill Clinton, was an intellect, and he was truly a man of the people. He fucked ugly girls. That is a man. that is a man of the people, okay?
I designed this with the young career woman in mind. I mean, if you're an eager beaver like me, to help you give you a leg up on the corporate ladder, this bag's got all the room you need. When you're working hard, nothing wears off faster than lipstick. Believe me. This compartment's great for your Jenny Craig snacker crackers. There's a hidden little compartment where you can put the fat that they're gonna suck out of my ass, because I'm not losing a pound, Jenny. This side's terrific for little wet naps, because there is nothing grosser than sticky fingers. I mean, it's big enough for your dry cleaning. Unless, of course, you're a big fat lying bitch like Linda Tripp. There's no bag big enough for your big ass dresses. So listen to the nice man, and he'll tell you how you can get a hold of my roomy and supple bags.
My fellow Americans, I want this little girl to be remembered for her bags, not the other thing there.
Don't even go there, you creep.
They said it is the largest collection of DNA in the world, not counting Monica Lewinsky's closet. And the humidity, man, I'll tell you, people's clothes are stickier than Monica Lewinsky's. Man, it was just...
The media obsessed over every angle of her story. From tabloid stories like these to cartoons where microphones pointed at her face were replaced with penises.
I don't know, man. World's nuts, man. It's all good for Clinton. Anytime something bad happens, good for Bill Clinton, just get people off his ass. Kids got shot, good. People not thinking about me. That's right. See, now this whole Monica Lewinsky scandal, a lot of this shit is Hillary's fault. That's right, I said it. And she the first lady. She supposed to be the first one on her knees to suck his dick. That's right, Monica Lewinsky shouldn't even have stood a chance. Hillary supposed to already be down there like, hey, I got it. I got the dick. Yeah, grab a ball, make yourself useful.
You talked about being abandoned by the main figure in the crisis who knew me intimately. Now, recently in an interview, former President Clinton was rather irate when he was asked if he ever apologized to you personally. And he said, I apologized publicly. Do you still expect that apology, the personal apology?
I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to do this. Overnight, I went from being a completely private figure to a publicly humiliated one worldwide. I was patient zero of losing a personal reputation on a global scale almost instantaneously.
When news broke of the affair, most of us envisioned the classic trope of the gold digger, or what we used to call the homewrecker.
Lifts up her and shows him her thong.
At the time, Bill Clinton was very likable and adored.
Bill Clinton, a much better economy had come through. His administration was up to 77%.
All over the world, there are 3 words spoken together express the triumph: President Nelson Mandela.
No American president was closer to Nelson Mandela than Bill Clinton. Their terms in office in the 1990s overlapped. When Mr. Clinton got caught up in scandal, Mandela, visiting the White House, stood by him.
我想对达赖喇嘛刚才克林顿总统所提到的
I'd vote for Clinton again if I could, at least.
Nobody expects this holy behavior because he the president. It is just Bill Clinton. He's just a man. He ain't Reverend Clinton. nasty Clinton. It ain't Maharaja Clinton.
Trying to figure out, who I'm gonna vote for and shit. And Bill ain't nothing but a big pimp. That's my nigga if he get any bigger. He pimping, he like Hillary. She gonna run for the presidency. I don't wanna be the president. What did I say? Gonna fuck around, get back in the White House, getting his dick sucked again. And this time he'll be on camera. He's like, I don't give a fuck, I ain't the president. Talk to me what?
Like, you look at Clinton, and black people like Clinton. And I saw one thing on the campaign trail. He actually just picked a black baby up and kissed him. Come here, little nigger baby. Mwah, just kiss him. I said, I like that. He did not hesitate or nothing. You see George Bush Jr., he be in, ugh.
This was coupled with the harsh reality that women are almost always judged more severely than men when it comes to matters of relationships and infidelity, scrutinized not just for what they did, but for who they are. So at the time, there was very little sympathy for Monica Lewinsky.
Only one I feel sorry for is that Lewinsky. I feel a little sorry for her. Don't y'all feel a little sorry for her, though? God damn, y'all, come on, man. Have a heart. That's a hard thing to be famous for, man. I feel bad for her. Not even the women feel sorry for her a little bit, ladies. Now that's jealousy. That's what that is. I'm just gonna haunt her for the rest of her life. Long after she spent that money up, that's still gonna haunt her. And I know there's a lot of women in here with at least one they regret. And I bet you wasn't a president's dick. I bet you worked at Kenny Shoes or Safeway or some shit like that. See, we gotta stop judging people. That girl was young, and she made a mistake that young girls make.
While she was quietly falling apart, the world laughed.
Did you see Monica's new hairdo, all slicked down with that hair gel? At least I think it was hair gel. And you can't get away without at least one of these. Lewinsky back on her feet. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And the Grammy for Best Organ Recital went to Monica Lewinsky, ladies and gentlemen. Monica also said that President Clinton would often compliment her. Say things like, you look skinny today. If you didn't think this guy was the biggest liar in the world before, I'm sorry. Pretty much puts it over the top. I'm sorry. You think this is it now? Can we stop with this? You think her 15 minutes of stain are finally over? Thank you, please. Thank you very much. The pretty girl you can take home to mom, or the cheap, slender girl puts out. Everybody goes for Monica.
The world laughed. The public's reaction was cruel, almost gleeful, completely blind to the fact that behind the scandal was a young woman in her early 20s, suffering in silence. Not a villain, but a human being with a broken heart.
To see my face on TV, to read my name in the newspaper. People have no idea what this has done. What this has done, that behind the name Monica Lewinsky, there's a person and there is a family, and there has been so much pain that has been caused by all this. And it was so destructive. It was so destructive.
Hatred from the conservatives came as no surprise.
You know what the Clinton policy was for 8 years?
Wait a second.
We on our knees in front of the rest of the world. That's the way the world wants.
But those who were just the normal average person had the attitude that she kind of brought it on herself. The truth was obviously much more complicated.
Put back on the sage green suit I had been wearing the day before when he paid attention to me. I thought, well, maybe he'll notice me again. And he did. He spent time sort of standing there and held my hand longer than he should have.
Only with the release of her book did we get the full story. But the damage had already been done. Monica was just a young girl who was looking to meet the man of her dreams and to fall in love.
She brought me back into the Oval Office, and the three of us went into the back study. And she went into the dining room and hid there because the illusion to everyone else was that I was not alone with him.
She was just a young girl, swept up by the fantasy of love and the dream of a happily ever after, only to have her heart broken and her name dragged through the mud.
He was in essence her boss. You know, I'm very mixed on that. Now, that doesn't excuse Bill Clinton, I think, but the thing that I actually blame Bill Clinton most for there was that he tried to basically destroy her reputation when he was in the middle of denying the affair. They insinuated that she was lying and that she wanted attention, all these things that were not true.
I did not do that. He is in.
So she was scapegoated in that way, and she was, in her words there, abused in that way.
The emotional contrast between her private hopes and the public fallout could not be more profound.
How do you know she is a witch?
We also tend to gloss over the fact that she had her heart broken. At the time, the internet had just become a household item, with news stories and gossip being shared freely.
Millions of Americans own a personal computer. You can now glimpse the future with nothing more than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
It was in chat sites and online forums, among all the ugliness, that a small amount of support could be found, voicing some sympathy for her. Since then, Monica Lewinsky has been mentioned in more than 130 songs, mostly rap songs. And at least 2 songs are entirely about her. G-Eazy's Monica Lewinsky and Splashing Over Monica by Mr. Live. In hip-hop, her name has either one of 2 meanings. At least 70 songs use her name as a verb for oral sex intimacy, as in, to Lewinsky, to give Lewinsky, or to get Lewinsky. The other main use of Lewinsky is as a derogatory term for an inferior person, women who throw themselves at prominent men, or as a stand-in for a prostitute. One song even uses Lewinsky as a moral lesson for young women, saying, "You should be a Michelle Obama instead of a Monica Lewinsky." Rapper 2 Chainz equates having a Monica Lewinsky as a status symbol with "I'm on the top floor, presidential suite, Monica Lewinsky, presidential freak." But it was Nicki Minaj that used Monica Lewinsky as a metaphor for power itself. She refers to herself as Nicki Lewinsky in 12 of her own songs, insinuating that no man, no matter how powerful, can resist her. She also calls herself Young Money Monica, meaning she knows her own worth and can harness her sexuality for wealth and power.
You were on the receiving end of one of the worst internet-fueled public shamings of all time, and hopefully, in a way, ever. How the fuck did you get through that?
I don't actually know. You know,
Really?
I mean, it was an avalanche of pain and humiliation, and obviously I could not have gotten through it without my family, and eventually when I was allowed to talk to my friends too. And I think at 24 years old, it was, you know, really hard to hold on to a shred of dignity or self-esteem when, you know, you're just the butt of so many jokes and being misunderstood.
What's it like to see this kind of character of yourself that has your face and name, but which bears less and less relevance to who you actually are?
It was, I say extraordinary, not with any positive connotation. And I think it was not only just the slut shaming, not only, you know, having had an intimate relationship with someone who is now describing me in a way that was like no young woman would want to be described.
Sure.
There was just also my looks. I mean, I you know, was very about the touch-ups and the makeup, because I'm like, part of my vanity now comes from just the wound of having been made fun of for my weight, for, you know, people saying I was unattractive. And it was terrifying. My identity was stolen in a different way. I mean, not to say that I wasn't flawed and, you know, that I didn't make terrible mistakes or do stupid things or say stupid things, because of course I did.
22.
You know. Right. So
every 22-year-old is some version of an idiot.
you just lost a lot of viewers, Sean.
That's true. Not whichever 22-year-old is listening now, not you.
Not you. It's not like I was this, you know, perfect angel.
Many victims of public shaming say it affects their ability to earn a living. Did that happen to you?
Oh, 150%. You know, it was interesting because I went to graduate school in 2005 and graduated in 2006. And I thought, oh, okay, now I will begin my life. I will now put being Monica Lewinsky behind me. And when I couldn't find a job, you know, either somebody offered me a job for the wrong reasons, like, you'll be coming to our events, that's your job and there's media there, you know, or saying to me, you know, the opposite of, well, could you get a letter of indemnification from the Clintons? We rely on government money and Hillary might be president. I mean, there was this wide range, and also have a purpose, which is equally important, to feel that you matter in some way.
Is it tough sometimes with
Yes.
a typical day?
Whatever your question is, the answer is yes. Yes, it is tough.
No, that's probably a fair response. Is it tough, though, sometimes just to get through a typical day? Because the ubiquity of references to you is incredible.
In part, a lot of that happened because of this, you know, sexist really thing that happened, which is that the scandal was named after me. Anytime that this has been referenced every single day in the past 20 years, the investigation and the scandal has my name, I'm then therefore attached to it.
Did you ever consider changing your name?
I don't think that it really would have even worked. Like, people even suggested, you know, well, why don't you put a different name on your CV? I thought, so then I'm gonna walk into an office for an interview and the person's gonna be like, oh, that person looks like Monica Lewinsky, you know, and be wondering, and you're starting out a professional relationship on a lie. And then lastly, I think it was also a principle in the sense that Bill Clinton didn't have to change his name. Nobody's ever asked him, did he think he should change his name? That's an important statement. You know, I'm not proud of all of the choices I've made in my life, but I'm proud of the person I am. As hard as it has been to have that last name sometimes, and the pain that I have felt of what it's meant for the other people in my family who have that last name, I am glad I didn't change it.
I already have a mental list of fake names that I'm going to choose. Alvin, I like. Alvin. It's not a great name, but I think I can carry it off.
You actually could really carry off Alvin.
Thank you, Monica. I think I could too.
But I don't know about Alvin Oliver.
My second one was Jax. No surname, no explanation, just Jax.
I could get behind that one.
Let's talk a bit about, like, laughing, because you joke about your experiences. How long did it take you to get to the point where you could do that?
A couple years ago, a friend of mine she and her friend had a 25th friend-iversary party. Everybody had to come dressed as from the 90s. So I just thought, okay, you know, so for the first time in about 18 years, I donned a black beret, went to my friend's party, because, you know, in part because I thought it was funny.
Oh, it's definitely funny. Is that not a marker for actually having come a long way, though, that you're able to actively participate in humor connected to what you went through?
Other item of clothing, jokes, not as much.
You're on Twitter now, and you're very funny on there.
Thank you.
So how did you decide to go on it? Watching you tweet something funny and then making the mistake of scrolling down.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of empowerment out of blocking people. So I wish people would not say shitty things, but they do, right?
Sure.
And literally to me, it's like when I block someone, I'm like going, "Ugh."
Oh really?
That's literally what it feels like for me, is that I'm basically telling someone to fuck off. It feels great. So I mean, I wish they hadn't said something that would make me want to block them to begin with, but blocking is unbelievably empowering. I was lucky in some ways that social media wasn't around. I think that would have made it worse in some ways.
Do you really think it could have got worse?
It might have been worse in the sense that there certainly would have been a lot more opinions that were out there, but where it may have been better would have been that I think I would have heard some support from people. So it might have been a little more balanced.
So would it have been really meaningful to you at the time, had social media been around, just to have a stranger tweet something like, I think what you're going through is complete bullshit?
Yeah, it would. Absolutely. Because one of the things that happens with these kinds of experiences is that you start to disappear. You start to feel like you don't matter. And I think that when somebody sees you, you know, and just acknowledges your humanity in the smallest way, it really can make a world of difference. And you don't know, it could help save someone's life. And I think that's important.
What would your advice be to someone who's either in the eye right now of the storm of public shaming, or a kid who's being humiliated at school online? Is there anything that you'd be able to tell them from your personal experience that nobody else could?
The first thing I'd probably say is that you can get through it. You can move past it. I know it feels like in this one moment that your life will forever be defined by this, but it won't. And it may be hard. It may take more time than you ever could have imagined, but you can move past something like this.
Monica Lewinsky, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you, Alvin. Or Jax.
You've been doing a lot of work related to bullying and people being shamed. Is it a problem that you think has gotten worse?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that with the advent of the internet and, of course, social media, we now have situations where it's exacerbated beyond, I think, what anybody could have imagined initially. And the anonymity that comes with that sort of unleashed these whole new personas for people.
Yeah, it's sad though, isn't it? Because if you have a chance to come up with a second persona, you decide to come up with one that's a fucking monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Amplify every worst aspect of my personality by 100.
Like, how much of an asshole can I be?
Exactly.
Let me see.
It's gonna haunt her for the rest of her life. Long after she spent that money up, that's still gonna haunt her.
That'd be too much pressure for a black president. We couldn't deal with that Monica Lewinsky. Black people can't be under the eye of being a president. We don't have nobody all in our business like that. Yell our business all out. We don't play like that. A reporter would have jumped up here. Tell us about Monica Lewinsky. What? Hold on, dog. What, you gonna ask me in front of my wife and everything, nigga? Hold my jacket, dog. Everybody start leaving the president fight too much. He always fighting. That's why I don't go nowhere where he is.
I think Americans really show their ignorance when they say they want their politicians to be honest. If honesty were suddenly introduced into American life, the whole system would collapse. No one would know what to do. Honesty would fuck this country up. That's why they elected and re-elected Bill Clinton. Because the American people like their bullshit right out front where they can get a good, strong whiff of it. Clinton might be full of shit, but at least he lets you know it. Dole kept saying, I'm a plain and honest man. What did Clinton say? He said, hi, folks, I'm completely full of shit. And the people said, you know something? At least he's honest. At least he's honest about being completely full of shit.
I mean, come on now, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Bill Clinton was not the first president to do what he did. Let's name John F. Kennedy. Remember him? He fucked Marilyn Monroe. Him and his brother Bobby fucked Marilyn Monroe. And history doesn't talk about that much because those 2 pages in history are stuck together. And then to top it off, he lied, which I thought that was special. Clinton came out of the press conference all relaxed. He told us all relaxed and all this trouble. It looked like he just got done fucking or something. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Everybody knew what that finger smelled like. Nobody cared. We was disgusted, but we kept watching the news. I know I did. I was taping it. See, I'd be at the crib like, baby, turn the lights off. The news is coming on. Every week on 60 Minutes was a different girl accusing Clinton. Kathleen Willey came out. The president called me into his office. He began massaging my breast slowly. I'm sorry. Placed my hand on his genitals. Ed Bradley was shocked. Was he aroused? I was at home like, yeah, was he aroused? Ed Bradley looked right in the camera. He said, don't bust that nut yet. We'll be right back. Man, the news had never been so good.